country. And now here are Jim and Butch.
Well, not exactly Jim and Todd and Butch. Not exactly Jim and Butch. It's actually Todd. But that's what I'm trying to say, Butch. I'll get it out here in a minute.
You know what? Friends love each other, and it's all okay. All right.
That's right. That's right. I'll get it out. I'll get it out, Butch. I'll get it out. I promise.
Well, and of course, Todd, I'm on the road again, and I'm here actually at the baggage claim area at the Richmond International. They call it International Airport in Virginia. I'm up here for a nephew's wedding, and I'll make some comments at Menchville Baptist Church on Saturday, and my mother will be here, my sister, my brother is coming up from Greensboro. It's going to be great, and of course, family is important, and it's great to be here with you. And Jim is getting some much needed R&R, and you know what? I love our WCAB family, and Todd, you've taken the lead here. So what are we're going to do what here?
Say it again, Butch. I'm sorry.
We're going to jump in and talk about some of the election issues, but how's it been taking Jim's place for a couple of days?
I'm going to tell you what, it's been nerve-wracking. It's been strenuous. It's been confusing because our Phantom's been down, but we are actually. Tiger is in the building this morning. He has got our Phantom back going this morning, so we are actually. You heard the intro music, which is not something we've had all this week and for part of last week, but thank goodness Tiger showed up this morning right on time and fixed it. There's a lot being said about great men in the history of the world who have shown up right on time.
Well, that's great. And Todd, again, one of the things about WCAB is, and I'm writing a little article about this, is that through the years, there has been a morning program, and you've been doing that for Jim, right?
I have been, yeah. Yeah, I've been.
How's that gone?
It's going pretty good. Been strenuous at times, but it's been going good, though.
All right. Well, Bryson Smith, the head of the Republican Party, texted me early this morning, and the reason he texts early is because he works hard. He does concrete, and often when he and I talk, I'll hear the sound of concrete in the background. And, Todd, I'm going to go ahead, if it's okay, and read a note that he sent out to the Republican Party about the great onion sale that the Republican Party does every year. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead. Let's talk about that.
All right. So Bryson wrote this note. Each year, the Rutherford County Republican Party has a Vidalia onion fundraiser. This fundraiser has a 30-year legacy with the RRC GOP. It is one of the largest fundraisers the GOP conducts. Last year, we sold a record 7,000 pounds with this year's goal of 10,000 pounds. If you'd like to purchase Republican Vidalia onions, we're selling 10-pound bags for $10, 25-pound bags for $20, and then you can pre-order it and you can go to their website for that. And anyway, Todd, what should people do here?
I would, Roger Short's they call it Roger Short, they call him the Onion Man. So he's going to be going down himself personally and picking those up. You can go to the website, Rutherford County GOP, and order your onions there. You can go by the Rutherford GOP headquarters up in Rutherfordton and order your onions there as well, and they'll be in later on. I think they're coming in, next week, maybe the 26th, next Thursday maybe?
Yes.
So the 26th is when you'll actually go pick them up, and I'm sure they'll have some for those of us that didn't order them early. They'll have plenty for sale, but Roger's going to go down and pick those things up. They'll be so fresh out of the ground, they'll probably still have dirt on them.
And Todd, what is so special about Vidalia onions?
Vidalia onions here in the South, that's the ones that you cut up and you can slice them and you take them apart and you dip them, in some batter and you fry them and you make onion rings out of them. That's what they're good for, man. They're that good.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? When I moved here 4.5 years ago, There's so many things that I didn't know, and I still don't know much. But, Todd, you have helped me, and especially with things like this. What I'm told is that a Vidalia onion is one of several varieties. Several. Okay, so I've got a call coming in here.
That's probably the Vidalia, I believe, is the sweet onion. It's what we refer to them.
Yeah.
When you go somewhere and somebody down in the South, especially us, will say, "Give me some of them sweet onions." That's what they're talking about.
Right.
The Vidalias.
Yeah, and what's different about it is it's actually defined by law in the state of Georgia since 1986 in the United States Code of Federal Regulations. Now, they tell me that varieties include the hybrids and also other varieties, including whatever the Vidalia Onion Committee affirms, and it's all approved by the United States Department of Agriculture. The onions are named Vidalia because they were historically grown in the town of Vidalia, and apparently they started cultivating these in the 1930s. And what I'm told, Todd, is that all these varieties are sweeter than other onions because the amount of sulfur in the soil in the place that they're grown is less.
That's
and
right.
it was named Georgia's official state vegetable in 1990.
I can get behind that. I love onions. You can cut those things up, put them in a salad. Of course, that's not really what I do with them. Put them on a hot dog, put them on a hamburger, or the old traditional thing. If you don't know what else to do with your food, dip it in batter and deep fry. That's a Southern thing around here.
So, Todd, if people want to get behind Republican politics, Rutherford County community engagement, how can they do that?
Say that again. I'm sorry. Somebody poked in and said something to me.
Yes. If people want to get behind the Republican Party's Vidalia Onion Initiative, what should they do?
I would suggest first going by the Rutherford County GOP headquarters up in Rutherford, sit down, talk with the folks up there, and I know several of the people that are going to be helping with this onion sale. Roger Short is the main guy there. I think him and Steve Theodoropoulos go down to Vidalia, Georgia, pick the onions up fresh. They bring them back in. I do know they're going to be having, I think, an ice cream and onions when they come back in on Thursday of next week.
Really?
So, I read that. They're going to have ice cream there at the Republican headquarters. They're going to do that pretty much all day, and they're going to have just a big get-together with the Vidalia onions. And you can pick up your bags that you've pre-ordered, and I know they'll have some extra there. So that's how you can take part in this Vidalia onion sale and get the word out to everybody, because it's a great deal. I mean, it's a great deal on the onions.
That is so good. All right, so we've done our civic duty there, and you know what, Todd? We just came out of the elections, right?
Yes, we certainly did.
Right. Do you have any quick perspectives on that before I jump into 10 observations?
No, I'm interested in what you got. Those 10 observations. I'm interested in those this morning. You piqued my curiosity.
All right. Well, I'm just going to sort of wade into the river and give some observations here. All right. So here are my Great America with Jim and Butch's observations, and Jim will come back next week and weigh in on this. But here are my 10 observations. Number one, voter turnout is often low for primaries with no presidential election. And you know what? 80% of eligible voters, Todd, in the county didn't vote.
Yeah, 80,
what do you
80%.
think? I think it's about 80%, yeah.
So what you're seeing happen is 20% of the population of Rutherford County is basically controlling what's going on in Rutherford County.
Well, and you can't complain if you're not suiting up and showing up and voting. And you know what? A significant percentage remain that have never even registered. And you know what, Todd? Number one, we have got to encourage people to understand that our republic, our democracy, depends on people showing up and voting, and most did not. Okay,
that's right.
All right. So,
that's right.
So number two, there is a definite rise in what we would call independent or unaffiliated voters. And there are a lot of reasons for this. We don't have time to go into it. But the reality is both Republican and Democratic parties right now, I believe, are looking for an identity. And when people in the homesteads in the neighborhoods of our county don't see an identity and a clear definition of what you're behind and what you're for, they become unaffiliated. And so that is fast growing.
It was always interesting to see the Bud Byers is a man about statistics, and he would bring in sheets every week of where people were leaving the Democrat Party, leaving the Republican Party, and going independent. And he kept an eagle's eye watch on that, and it was always interesting to hear Bud's perspective on that.
Well, and you know what? And beyond the fact that he is a 5 million mile driver for Yellow Freight, we had him on our podcast over at FreightWorks. Beyond that, he is an incredible, insightful person in understanding all the trends of what's happening with voting. And there is a definite trend of people that are saying, I don't really understand the Democrats. I don't understand the Republicans. I don't really identify with them. I'm going to put myself in a bucket of independent and unaffiliated, and that's definitely going on. Our time is going to go quick here, so let me move. 3.3, character still counts. Character still counts. And I believe, Todd, it's really hard to discern the character of a candidate unless you meet them. 70% of all communication is nonverbal. My Israeli friends talk often about having what they call a 4 eyes meeting. Meaning what? You look each other in the eye, you hear the heart of a person, and right now, character is so important. And I don't know how many times I encourage people in the recent election, go talk to somebody. Don't listen to what you hear. Go ask them. And Todd, have you seen that too?
I have. I have seen that. It seems like a lot of people have problems with like they have a problem and don't even really know why they have a problem with a certain person. And I'm of the mind if you doubt a person, if you have questions about the person's integrity, the heart, wherever they're headed, by all means, reach out to them. I haven't seen a candidate yet that if I ask to meet with them, they haven't said yes. And just go talk with them, sit down with them, put your bias aside, and just have an open-ended conversation and see where that goes.
Right on the mark. All right, so number 4. The sheriff's race. All right, so Aaron Ellenberg won the Republican nomination. In the fall, we've got Aaron, Tony Roberson, and Jason Weiss, right?
That is correct.
Right. Now, what's going to be very interesting, I think, is between Aaron Ellenberg and Tony Roberson, people answering the question, who is more hometown and homegrown?
Yeah, I agree.
Right, and I'll say this as well. You know, I've reached out to Tony Roberson a number of times and asked him to meet. You know, I've spoken to his campaign people. You know, I will tell you this: David Wheeler has made it very clear that if your campaign is centered around an anti-church or group platform, you're destined to fail. And I'm not saying anything other than that. I will tell you this, you know, David Wheeler, who's a friend, was co-founder of Fire Madison Cawthorn. And, of course, they were able to really help migrate a lot of voters that were Democrats over to unaffiliated, and they became folks that contributed to something we'll talk about in a moment here. All right, so number 5, incumbency is powerful. Because of their past work in the office, the incumbent frequently has better name recognition in most political posts and campaigns. And Todd, we saw that, didn't we?
Yeah, we saw that very thing happening right here in the county. Yeah, the incumbents are hard to unseat here in Rutherford County.
Well, talk about that from your perspective, because you grew up here, right?
Oh yeah, I mean I remember things that happened years ago that right around election time, people would you just see it come out of the woodworks, and get reelected time after time after time after time. When I was a kid, I thought it was comical, but and I look back now and I'll go, was that really the right thing to be doing at that point?
Todd, do you remember the first time you voted?
It was sometime after I turned 18 in 1989, late 1989. So it would have been the first election right after the 89, probably either 90 or 92.
And you know what? I've never asked you this question. I'm going to ask it on air. What do you see as the key issues in the county, Todd?
I think one of the big key issues in the county is the drug problem. I mean, we do have a definite problem with drugs. I would like to see a little bit more transparency out of things going on in the county, and but major. I was riding around yesterday with my wife. Had to go to a doctor's appointment, and I saw some homeless people. You could tell they were on drugs, just the way they acted, the way they carried themselves, and my heart really went out to those people. But one of the things we need to address is the drugs and rehabilitation from drugs. Right.
All right. So item number 6, election integrity remains a powerful and persistent issue. We had an update at our church last night. And there still apparently are election glitches, anomalies, wrong ballots, and all that stuff. Todd, what do you think it does when people hear, hey, you know what? Somebody drove up and wanted to vote, and they went inside and found out somebody voted for it. What do you think that does for people?
When I went to vote at my precinct, I had to present there was a lot of information I had to provide them with before I even got my ballot. So, as far as illegal votes or anything like that, I'm not really sure about that, because the process I went through to vote, they had to verify a lot of information with me. ID wasn't one of them, but I think that should be a part of the election process in North Carolina.
All right, so item number 7. We've got to move quick here. We only have 6 minutes. Number 7. Most people, I've not seen one media outlet pick up on this, Todd. Trump, our former president, number 45, had something occur in District 11. District 11. That's never happened, I don't think. 2 of his endorsed candidates have lost. Linda Bennett and Madison Cawthorn.
Yeah,
are you there?
I did see that. Yeah, Madison Cawthorn got beat in that. Chuck Edwards, I believe, took the race from Madison Cawthorn.
Right. But what's interesting, and I've not seen a media. WCAB may be the first media outlet to pick this up. It's the first place anywhere where 2 endorsed candidates in one district by former President Trump have lost. Madison Cawthorn beat Linda Bennett. Linda Bennett was endorsed by Trump. Madison Cawthorn lost to Chuck Edwards. He was endorsed by Trump. It's the only place in the country where it's happened. So you're hearing it here on WCAB. All right, so item 8. Yes, and most won't. Item 8, social media has been a political game changer. Fast distribution of information, both good and bad. And you know what, Todd? It grieves me, because so often I'll hear people say, hey, did you hear? Did you know? Can you believe? And I'll say, where did you get that information? And they'll say, I saw it on Facebook. And
I saw it on Facebook.
unfortunately, it's become a major distraction, but it's also a tool for accountability. What would be your take on this?
If you want to spread some misinformation, you can do it on Facebook. It will spread like wildfire as quick as you can. And you can make up anything you want sitting behind a keyboard. You can be anyone you want to be behind a keyboard. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. People will see it, believe it, and the more it's shared, the more it's repeated over and over and over. No matter how many times you repeat a lie, it's still a lie, basically. It's still a lie.
Todd, why do you believe people jump in so quickly around that hog feeding area of disinformation?
Seems like it's that mob mentality that, if you have a personal connection with a person, and, oh my gosh, well, they posted this. Well, you want to share it. Well, then your friends are going, oh, my goodness, if Todd posted it, it's got to be true. So they're posting it. And it seems like it gets everything rolling. And by the time that it gets to the point where you may find out, hey, that this wasn't true, it's too late. It's already burning. It's already going. It's already spreading. And it's too late to slow it down at that point.
Item number 9, money still rules in most campaigns, and there will be lots of outside monies flowing into North Carolina. You know why? North Carolina is a bellwether state. What happens in the Senate, we've got a governor, I'm just going to say this in an unabashed way, we've got a governor that is not behind anything that an evangelical Christian would be behind. But money influences a lot, and we've got a lot of money, Todd, flowing in from the coastal states like California into our state because we're so important. Do you have a quick comment on that?
Oh, I absolutely believe that's true. I do.
All right, well, let's get to item number 10. Rutherford County, and this should be an encouragement, has experienced one of the most dramatic makeovers politically over the last 20-plus years. You know how I know that? I've only been here 4.5 years. Pat Jobe, Jim Bishop, and the inimitable Bud Byers have all explained to me that we used to be a Democratic county, Todd.
Oh, yeah. I can remember when everybody here was everybody in any office was a Democrat. I remember that.
You do. How long ago was that?
That was probably early 90s, middle 90s, somewhere right in there.
All right. Well, we have transformed as a county. And you know what? I have Democratic friends. I have people that I love that are on the other side of the aisle. I used to be there until God transformed my life. And I'm not saying that in any other way than God can change the heart of a person. And the abortion issue is what pushed me way over the Rubicon into understanding that things like pro-life aren't just political. They are driven by what God says. But you know what, Todd? Our county is a case study. I've told this to Bryson Smith and to Mike Watley and to others. A case study of how a county that was Democratic can change. And we're going to tell that story in the days ahead. And as a backdrop and really sort of a benediction to it all, it's not about the politics. It's understanding that the living God, the God of the universe who made all things, Todd,
that's right.
Helps us understand.
That's right.
Helps us understand that kingdoms rise and kingdoms fall, but Jesus Christ is the Lord of all. And it's with that strength that we as a county, I believe, are going to move forward into our best days ahead.
That's right. Butch, our time is up this morning. Been great talking with you. Been great sitting in with you all week. And look forward to more conversations in the lobby.
Thanks so much. God bless America.
Thanks. God bless America.